As Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis prepare for their November 14th showdown, a leaked sparring video of the two shared by a boxing YouTube channel has sparked major controversy and intense debate across the boxing community.
Didn't even notice it at first, honestly. I want to see the replay. Like, I don't even know if I moved at all. But it was pretty fast. I didn't see it coming, so we'll...
During his 14-month break and before his fight with Frank Martin, Gervonta Davis had a private sparring session with Jake Paul that few knew about. The session took place after Davis mocked Jake's boxing skills and claimed his punching power matched that of a super middleweight.
Oh, good punch.
There you go. Take deep breaths when you want. Take deep breaths. Right.
As expected, the sparring went exactly how Gervonta Davis had predicted. Even though Jake Paul tried using his size, height, and reach to overpower him, Davis relied on his sharp footwork and ring IQ to stay in control. Throughout the session, Jake's limited technical ability left him chasing a knockout that never came.
Think that you can be the fighter to stop him, and if you can stop him, do you think you can stop him?
Yeah, for sure. I think I can stop him. I'm much quicker than him. He's much stronger, much bigger, but we all know that tall fighters is a taller fighter. A shorter person is hard to fight a taller person. So, I mean, well, a taller person is hard to fight a shorter person.
We made it smaller gloves just now today. Someone's getting put to sleep.
How's your mental?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just so happy to be here. I love all of this. Excited to get back to camp and just knock this guy out.
Jake tried to catch Gervonta Davis off guard and land a big shot on the lightweight champion, but Davis's tight defense blocked every punch. Tank quickly switched to counterpunching, and if the session had been scored, he would have clearly won on points. Fans who saw the footage were shocked by how easily Davis handled him.
And going to feature of the day is Miami resident hip-hop star.
Damn. This is exactly how the real fight will play out. Boxing is about skill, not size. There's no way a YouTuber can beat someone as skilled as Tank, one fan commented. Another added, I don't get how anyone thinks this matchup makes sense. It's like a younger version of Tyson and Jake, nothing new or special.
Gervonta Davis.
Oh, I don't care. I don't think anyone cares, man. No one cares.
No one cares. To make sure the real fight goes just like their sparring, Gervonta Davis has been training with heavyweight partners to prepare for the 6 feet 2 inches cruiserweight Jake Paul. But Jake didn't seem bothered at all. After Davis posted an Instagram story showing himself sparring with a much bigger fighter, the photo spread quickly online and reached Jake's feed. Instead of reacting seriously, Jake reposted it with a lighthearted caption showing he wasn't worried in the slightest.
We know he's going to be definitely frustrated. You know, he's slower. You know, his arm reach not that much longer. We just gotta wait and see until we get in there and test the waters. But I'm for sure though that he decent and he gonna hold up for a couple rounds. But once it get hot in there, you know.
Gervonta sparring with a guy who has cankles? Come on, man. Get a real athlete, Jake Paul mocked. Even Terrence Crawford admitted he was as shocked as everyone when the news surfaced because of the huge size difference. Crawford believes the matchup could be risky for Davis. Jake's just too big for Tank, he said on the Full Send podcast. Honestly, he's way too big for him.
Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake laying one good punch on Tank.
Crawford has made it clear that he's not a big fan of Gervonta Davis, but still respects his talent. The 37-year-old emphasized that while Tank is powerful, explosive, and highly skilled, Jake's size is simply too much to overcome. Tank's got skills and power, but Jake's just too big, Crawford said. Davis's last fight on March 1st at Brooklyn's Barclays Center ended in a majority draw against Lamont Roach. A rematch seemed likely, but instead Davis surprised fans by signing to fight Jake Paul.
What do you think about it?
Bruh.
Yeah. Lay it on me, Rolly. What do you think, bro? Come on.
I don't even know what to think right now. I don't even know what to think. Maybe some, Tank has an unreal boxing ability, and Jake Paul is really big. But the last time I said somebody was going to be bigger, they weren't that much bigger. But I think in this case, somebody's actually a lot bigger, so.
Did you see the face-off? Like, he's like a lot bigger. Even though I know it's like...
As for Jake Paul, the former YouTuber-turned-cruiserweight contender has faced plenty of criticism for the kind of opponents he chooses. Crawford doesn't think the fight makes much sense but admitted he'll still watch. He said that if the matchup turns out to be a real fight and not just another overhyped sparring session, Davis could be in serious trouble. "I think Jake wins," Crawford said. "He's just too big. If he lands one solid right hand on Tank, it's over. Jake's got real power, and he's not as slow as people think."
Ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be Jake Paul.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It's just
Shakur Stevenson, the 28-year-old WBC lightweight champion, appeared on TMZ Sports just moments after the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight was announced. While acknowledging that Tank is one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport, Stevenson pointed out the massive size gap of around 60 pounds between the two. Davis last weighed in at 133 pounds, while Jake came in at 199. When asked if Jake had any real chance of beating Davis, the undefeated 24-0 champ didn't hesitate, saying simply, "Nope, not at all."
Bud is always going to come in there 100% and he's going to be on top of his game. He's going to be sharp, fast, strong. I think that's the thing that's going to surprise a lot of people with this fight is Bud power carries up. It's not just power that was just there for 147 or 140. His power carries up in weight. So I think that's the biggest thing that's going to surprise everybody.
Shakur, have you noticed that he's a step slower and any downside to adding on a little bit of size with Bud?
I mean, I can't.
Stevenson admitted that size could influence the fight, but if he were in Tank's position, he'd focus on using skill and ring IQ to outbox Jake Paul. "I can see Tank outboxing him and making it look easy," he said. While Davis is famous for his knockout power, scoring 28 KOs in 31 fights, Stevenson doesn't expect a quick finish this time. "I think Tank wins by decision," he explained. "Jake's too big to just get knocked out like that. I see Tank outsmarting him in the ring." When Babcock pressed him further, Stevenson firmly repeated his stance.
But Tank wants to fight Jake Paul. I'm telling you, he want to fight Jake Paul because he know if he climb in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, he's going to get zapated. He know it. They all know it.
Stevenson made it clear he doesn't see Tank knocking Jake out but still views the matchup as completely one-sided. "Jake's good for where he's at, but there are levels to this," he said. Despite the hype, Stevenson has no plans to watch the fight. "Hell no," he told TMZ Sports. Explaining his stance, he said, "I've got two sides, my business side and my competitor side. And from a competitive standpoint, this fight just doesn't excite me enough to want to watch it."
199-point-something his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He hasn't been only boxing for a couple of years. He's 12-1. Tank Davis obviously been boxing his whole life. He's 30-0-1. He's knocked everybody out except for 3 opponents in his life. But at what point does size matter so much, though, where it can't be overcome, Shakur? And is it in this case here when you've got what is like a 70-pound difference between these two guys?
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but...
Stevenson said he wasn't surprised by Davis's decision to fight Jake Paul. "No, I'm not shocked," he said. In his last fight against Lamont, Jake was there, and Tank even said he'd fight someone like Jake Paul, so this doesn't surprise me. Still, Stevenson admitted he's not happy about it. He was frustrated even when the fight was just a rumor, believing that Davis choosing an exhibition with a YouTuber disrespects the sport and undermines his own goal of facing Tank for the lightweight titles. "Tank is disrespecting boxing if he picks an exhibition with Paul instead of fighting me," Stevenson told Fight Hub TV.
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if you want to call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left.
So Shakur Stevenson insists he's the best fighter in the game and challenges Gervonta Davis to prove otherwise. His frustration has grown after years of trying to secure a match that never happens. Both men rule the same division, Stevenson holding the WBC title and Davis the WBA. But talks have repeatedly stalled. What started as a rivalry has turned into a drawn-out boxing drama, leaving fans eager for answers. While Gervonta appears more interested in a high-profile exhibition with Jake Paul than settling things in the ring.
And making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and said he's got good power. Not even the, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Jake Paul revealed that talks are happening privately, saying the fight could be finalized under certain terms to deliver the biggest show of the year. But this idea has angered Shakur Stevenson, who wants a real, career-defining fight, not a publicity event. One major reason this long-awaited matchup hasn't happened is the clash between promoters and broadcast platforms. Stevenson is signed with Top Rank and fights on ESPN, while Gervonta Davis is with Premier Boxing Champions, appearing on Showtime and pay-per-view. These business barriers have long blocked major fights like this. For now, Stevenson says he's focused on two possible opponents, Teofimo Lopez and Lamont Roach, who also challenged Davis after their draw earlier this year.
It's fighting the world. Yeah. Like, it's going to be the biggest boxing fight in the world when it happens. I can see it happening not too far in the future. Really? I can see it happening. I don't think, like, I think Tank will sign that contract. Dang. And I'm going to sign a contract too. So
months before his fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake Paul had already hinted at a possible matchup with Gervonta Davis, saying his team was quietly working to make it happen, most likely as an exhibition. Now that fight is officially on, and it's turning heads across the boxing world. The idea of a cruiserweight facing a lightweight champion sounds almost unbelievable. Yet some, including Claressa Shields, are embracing the entertainment factor. The announcement surprised many, especially since Davis was expected to rematch Lamont Roach Jr. after their controversial draw on March 1st. Instead, he's stepping into the ring with Jake Paul.
I think Tank is going through things that we don't know that he's going through mentally, so that's why I kind of like don't want to. I think that whenever I say something about him, it go viral and then they make it a way for us to beef or whatever.
Pile on.
Yeah, and it's more of like I ain't got to be friends with him, but I don't hate the dude, and I wish him well. I think that
Claressa Shields admitted she'll probably watch the fight, even if just out of curiosity. Shakur Stevenson, however, had a very different reaction. After years of calling out Gervonta Davis for a big showdown, he's frustrated to see Davis choose a cruiserweight YouTuber turned boxer instead. Shields posted on X that she was shocked to see the announcement of Tank vs. Jake Paul instead of a Lamont Roach rematch, but still plans to tune in. She predicted Davis would win because of his superior skill and experience, though she questioned his mindset. In his 12-year career, Davis has only fought once at 140 pounds, and now he's stepping up to face someone who competes at 200. Jake Paul, meanwhile, confirmed in an interview with Ariel Helwani that the fight will take place at 195 pounds.
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might see it in a minute. You definitely might see it in a minute.
Jake Paul confirmed the fight will be an exhibition, 10 3-minute rounds with no restrictions, acknowledging it can't be officially sanctioned. Boxing legend Tim Bradley believes this move shows that Gervonta Tank Davis is basically retired and only doing it for the payday, not because he still has something to prove. Tank is done, Bradley told the Ring, saying, Davis has already hung up his gloves in spirit. Although Bradley has long admired Davis's talent, he's recently been disappointed by his performances. In his view, things started to decline earlier this year when the 30-year-old WBA lightweight champion faced Lamont Roach at Brooklyn's Barclays Center on March 1st, entering as a heavy favorite but failing to impress.
It's about like being in the ring with him, right? That's the main thing. He want to be able to say, look what I've done in the last 4 years, 5 years, or 5 years in boxing. I got to the top. I fought the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, Canelo Alvarez or Anthony Joshua, heavyweight champ. That's just it. That's all he wants. He looking for clout, man. That's it. Clout at the end of the day. He know he can't beat none of those dudes.
But if he stepped in the ring with an Anthony Joshua, all jokes aside, would you from the outside looking in a former fighter, you know how dangerous this is?
Many, including Tim Bradley, expected Davis to win easily, but the fight ended in a majority draw, a performance that fell short of expectations. That result seemed to push Davis toward action, as he and Lamont Roach were tentatively set for a rematch on August 16th in Las Vegas. However, the second fight was never officially announced, and it remains unclear if it will happen soon. The Ring reported recently that the rematch could still take place on August 23rd or 30th, but nothing is confirmed. Before facing Roach, Davis seemed on track for a showdown with Jake Paul if he had won, and Paul later confirmed those plans.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man.
So we see the same when Gervonta rematches Lamont Roach.
Could be, yeah, because the styles make fights, man. And obviously, Lamont Roach, man. Look, anybody that can take a shot and that's tough, bro, and that can take it to Tank, they can beat him. All right, Roach, he mentally tough, had his game plan, was able to execute, was able to march forward in spots. He was able to control a lot of the action.
Jake Paul mentioned their fight could still happen if Davis wins a rematch against Roach. Tim Bradley believes Davis is still incredibly talented, but also thinks the former pound-for-pound star is ready to step away from boxing. Tank is gone mentally, Bradley said, adding that Davis is focused on the payday from a fight with Jake Paul and is ready to move on. Former welterweight champion Andre Berto agrees, saying it's obvious this matchup is purely about money and that Davis doesn't care how boxing fans feel about what he calls a farcical fight.
Oh, and Gervonta Davis. Wow, that sounds crazy. That sounds real crazy. But doing it in Atlanta was a very smart strategic move. Because one thing about Atlanta, I lived in Atlanta for a good 4 to 5 years. And I know one thing when it comes to us, anything that's popping in the city,
The Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight is wild, Berto said, but holding it in Atlanta is a smart move. I've lived near Atlanta for 45 years, and whenever something big happens, the city shows up. He said it's going to be packed. He acknowledged that many hardcore boxing fans are upset, but added that right now, boxing is all about entertainment, not just the sport itself.
Coming out. So the city will be coming out. It's going to be packed. A packed house in Atlanta to come out. And, of course, support Gervonta. Because like I say, Jake ain't never in his life going to see a stadium so filled with black people in his life. You know what I mean? They coming out. It's going to be crazy, right? I see a lot of people in the comments, of course.
Despite all the controversy, Jake Paul and Tank Davis aim to deliver an exciting fight when they meet next month. For the latest news, highlights, and updates from the world of boxing, subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our content. Until next time.